Hey everybody, I just finished shooting a video about the future of my former purple spotted gudgeon tank. If you're not aware, I had to put my gudgeon down the other day, so this tank is now more or less empty. In theory, it's got a South American bumblebee catfish in it, but I have not seen it in several days. I can normally at least get a glimpse of its fin or something sticking out from its cave, and I've not seen hide nor hair of it. So I don't know what's going on with that fish, but in theory we've still got the catfish in there but nothing else, and I've got this wide open tank. And when I shot the video, I more or less discussed how I really don't know what I want to put in the tank. I am getting probably getting some unknown species of small pleco from a friend of mine. His in-laws have had this fish for a very long time. They're just kind of waiting for it to die. They've gotten, out of the hobby a long time ago, and all their other, tetras and all those kind of mollies and stuff died off long ago, and this one just keeps on going and going and going, and they're talking about chucking it out in the woods or something just to get rid of it. And so I said I would take that off their hands. No idea what species it is. It is a small 4 to 5 inch pleco, and for as old as I gather it is, it's definitely one of the species that doesn't get too big. So that can probably go in this tank. And I was also thinking about some of the guppies that I've got in some of my tanks. I got a lot of baby guppies recently, and I could always throw some guppies in there. And the main aspect of that video was discussing how I'm just not willing to go to pet stores at the moment. You can say what you want about that. I'm not really concerned about your opinion on whether I feel comfortable going to stores or not. But as far as I'm concerned, nothing's really changed in the last 6 months. And if I don't need to go out and be around people and mingle in stores and stuff, I don't. I go to the grocery store when I need to. I go to the Walmart if I need stuff, or the gas station or whatever. But I just don't really feel a need to go to the fish store to pick up some fish because I've got an empty tank sitting here. And so that was sort of the gist of the video. And as soon as I got done shooting the video, I got a really good idea for what we could do with this fish tank. And that is, I could make it a sunfish tank. And I've thought about maybe getting a school of smaller sunfish and letting them sort of grow up together, but I don't really think that's feasible because they will eventually get big enough that even if I get some of the lesser aggressive species like the bluegills, they'll still get too big to have multiple specimens in the tank. It would just be a really heavily stocked and crowded tank within a year or so. So if I do get a sunfish, we could get a really small, quarter or silver dollar size sunfish and just watch it grow up in the tank. I could also probably catch some Gambucia, which are, you can think of them as sort of drab native guppies. We have lots of those around here, tons of little minnows and stuff I could catch from various locations. And so while I know I said before that I wasn't really going to do any more catching native fish and that sort of thing, I think if I were setting up a permanent tank with like a sunfish tank that was going to have some minnows that were going to live in that tank, that's a little different than what I was doing before, where I was just catching them, releasing them, having fun with the tank, moving fish around, and that sort of thing. Once, if I'm establishing a tank, I have no problem going out and catching some fish to bring home to put in my tank. So I think that is probably the option that I'm going to go with. And then of course down the road, if I ever did decide, I want to make this into a South American dwarf cichlid tank or something like that, I've got private ponds and stuff that I have access to where I can take a sunfish or some minnows from the stream and I can go release it there, which won't be any issue. And so I've got options from that too. So in the meantime, until I do feel safe going out and going shopping in stores and stuff again, we've got the possibility of having a little 40-gallon, call it a pseudo native tank. My former native tank never really was truly a native tank, but now it's just sort of morphed into this new world tank. It's got North and South American fish in there, as well as some other parts of the world, but it's mostly North and South American fish in there. This can be a tank that's just got locally caught species, with the exception of that, catfish in the bottom. I don't have to put any of my guppies in there or anything. We can all just, we can stock it with fish I've caught, and we can put Gambucia in there instead of guppies, and we can put some little, maybe if I get lucky and I can catch some of those rosy-sided dace. Beautiful little fish with a red stripe down the side. It's almost, you could think of them as like a North American neon, nowhere near as vibrant, but definitely has a distinct reddish blue stripe down the side, and it's a beautiful little fish. So we've got options. We got things we can do. I got rocks that I could collect and put in there. I definitely think I would take a lot of these plants out. I'd have a much less planted tank if I was going to have the sunfish in there. So I don't know, again, just thinking out loud, but I don't think I'm going to post that other video about not knowing what to do with this tank. I think we're going to go with this one, and hopefully I'll get some good feedback and find out from people whether or not you think this is a good idea. I'm not going to get started on that today, so definitely put your comments down below. Let me know what you think and whether or not you think that would be an exciting idea to do some you know, sunfish tank and maybe have 2 or 3 small sunfish in there, something like that. I don't know. Again, throw your ideas out there. We've got possibilities. So thanks for watching this one. Make sure you subscribe. You don't want to miss anything I got coming up. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook. I know I often myself forget that I have a Facebook fan page now, but I do, and I do post videos over there. So make sure you follow me on Facebook or like me on Facebook or whatever you're supposed to do over there. And thanks for watching this one. I'll see you real soon in the next one.